It's always been hard to explain why I like working on the weekends or working after my job until I go to sleep, or even taking a day off from my job to be able to work. And it's not because writing cold emails, pitching copywriting services is super thrilling or anything, but it's just because the idea of progression is very appealing to me, and that's why I hold a lot of these guys like Alex Hormozi in high regard, just because they made me feel like I wasn't alone and I wasn't weird for wanting to do that. The feeling of progressing to me is kind of the closest I found to a constant state of happiness and fulfillment, and it's something that, God, mosquitoes everywhere. It's something that it took me a long time to notice, and it took me a long time to be okay with people not understanding it, because it's really hard. Everyone around you is going to tell you that you are wasting your time, you're wasting your 20s, whatever, and they ask you, why don't you want to enjoy life? But this is how I enjoy it. And it's kind of, it seems really dumb, but it's kind of it's like the feeling of putting things out into the world and not knowing if your life is going to change overnight. And usually it doesn't. It's a very slow progression, and that still feels nice. But it's the thought of that I could post this YouTube video and one day I might be able to wake up and see 1 million views, and that's not really my goal. I don't really care I'm not really trying to do that necessarily, but it's just one of those things where it's like, it could happen. You never know. I could spend all weekend doing cold emails, wake up Monday morning to 10, 15 different people saying, hey, I loved your email, I'd love to work with you, and then I just made a ton of money and my life has changed and I can do it full time and whatever, so it's kind of the idea, it's the dream of having things happen overnight. And even though I recognize that that isn't a reality, it's kind of like romanticizing it a little bit, but it's a way for me to stay consistent and stay progressing. And then one day I look up and I am there. I am where I want it to be. It's kind of crazy because I think it's not a super common thing, but if I have 4 days in a row where I eat really unhealthy and I don't work out, I don't feel good. I don't really feel good overall. But if I'm progressing in every avenue, it's a great feeling. And it doesn't always feel great in the moment. It's feeling like you're always moving forward and you're always moving toward the place you want to go. And if you're being stagnant, that feeling is gone. And yes, you may enjoy your day-to-day while you're watching TV or whatever, but I would argue that the feeling of going to bed knowing you put things out into the world and gave yourself a shot at the life that you're dreaming of is so much better, just because it's like I said, the odds are, I sent out probably 100 cold emails pitching my copywriting stuff today. I bet you I get 0 responses tomorrow, or even within the next week, and that's totally fine. But it's the feeling of tomorrow morning I could wake up, I could refresh my email, and I could see a bunch of responses, or even just one, So it's that keeps me going, and doing that instead of kind of doing anything else is really what drives me. And yes, I still will chill out. I'm probably gonna hang out with my friends later tonight, but it's kind of it's just the priority. I prioritize it. I make sure I get what I want done every day before I do anything else. And yes, there are different lifestyles. Everyone succeeds differently. I don't care what anyone else does. I really just enjoy working, and it's hard for me to enjoy life until I feel like I've put myself in a situation where I don't have to really worry very much. And I know that may not sound great to a lot of people, and a lot of people disagree with that, and that's fine. You can live however you want. But for me, it's hard for me to enjoy myself if I don't feel like I've earned the right to. And like I said, I know it sounds really harsh to myself, but it's kind of just how I feel, and I'm okay with it. And it's not that I don't enjoy my life ever or ever enjoy anything, of course, but I want to help people and I want to have my own life and be free and be able to do whatever I want. And, you know, there's a lot of stuff I want to do. There are a lot of things I see. Like if I see somebody outside that, for example, I went to this burger place down the street. It was just a little stand on the side of the road. It was incredible. And I was like, I wish I had 10 grand. I could just give them right there. It was just some dude. And I was like, dude, that's like the kind of thing. If somebody's just, I don't know, I've always respected entrepreneurship and people trying their best. And when somebody gives you an exceptional product, I want to be able to support it. You know, I'm very passionate about that. And it drives me crazy that I can't. And so it's just those kinds of little things where the fact that I can't do it kind of breaks my heart, but I'm not in a situation where I really can. You know, usually I'll try and give like $100 or something, but it's just things like that I've always wanted to do, and it's what keeps me going and what keeps me driven. And you know, it's not for everyone, but that's kind of why I think entrepreneurship tends to be hard. Not a lot of people can kind of relate to those things, or you thinking as large for yourself as you do. And it doesn't matter if other people don't think as big as you. I don't know if it's that it seems so unrealistic to people, so you just kind of sound crazy, or if it's people just don't think that big, or it's too overwhelming, or it makes them feel kind of jealous isn't the right word, but it just makes them ashamed that they're not doing that. But I don't understand why it feels the way it does, and it's so lonely, and it feels so it just feels like nobody truly can understand it. And you know, I've said this many times that I think often your feelings tend to hurt you and they don't really help you a whole lot. And I think for the most part it's true. My girlfriend loves when I say that, but you know, I think it's true for the most part, especially in business. And it's just like, you know, your feelings just don't really matter. They really just don't. I like what Naval Ravikant said in his book. He said the world is neutral, and it's just reflecting back onto you of what you think. Essentially, just a lot of these things that we feel, it just doesn't really matter. And so me feeling lonely, I can talk about it here and hopefully somebody else will resonate with it, but it just doesn't matter. The only solution is keep going, because eventually I will find those people that can relate to it, and you know, I will meet the people that are my current heroes, and I'll work with those people and whatever. But in the meantime, at the beginning, it is very challenging, and you just have to accept that no one's really going to understand. Basically, it's a lonely road out there, but I'm here grinding with you. And yeah, if you're ever feeling that way, just know that I am too. So I got you.